Having a mentor can be a powerful tool in growing as a software engineer, and as a graduating computer science student, I think I'm in a prime spot to maximize the impact from a potential mentorship. The principal software engineer at Amazon,
Steve Wynn,
from the channel A Life Engineered, recently uploaded a video where he will be taking applications from potential mentees. So today's video is for Steve, not necessarily my viewers. However, I hope that as my viewers, you might be able to learn a thing or two about how I personally choose to give my elevator pitch. It's something I'm constantly working on, and every time I give it to somebody new, I always walk away running back the scene in my head to see what I could have said differently. So to begin, hello, Steve. My name is Alex Bianchi, and I'm a computer science student graduating this semester from Rutgers University. I have 2 software engineering internships under my belt, the most recent at Google. This fall in the new grad hiring season, a few of my most notable accomplishments include passing the hiring committee at Google, receiving an offer from Datadog, and getting waitlisted by Amazon. Right now, my primary goal is developing my skills as a software engineer. This includes diving deep into my current computer science classes, reading books like Designing Data-Intensive Applications, and overall, writing good code. A brief history on my education. I graduated high school with an associate's degree, that's 60 college credits, and then spent 1 semester as a business student at Seton Hall. I dropped out of Seton Hall in the spring, spent a semester teaching myself how to code, and then started at Rutgers as a computer science student. I maintain a 3.9 GPA, and I'm graduating with my bachelor's degree in only 4 university semesters. In terms of what I hope to gain out of a mentorship with you, I'm going to follow your outline of 3 main topics.
goal setting, behavior change, and skills.
With skills, although I can write solid code at that of a junior or mid-level software engineering level, I think that the main spot that I have to improve is with my overall system design that isn't necessarily taught in internships or in computer science classes. My biggest shortcoming skill-wise is by far technical writing, and it's something that I would like to start reading books and getting as much experience on as possible. I wrote a good design document over the summer for Google, but I wouldn't define it as a great design document. In terms of behaviors, I think a good example of where I could have used some mentorship recently is when I got the offer from Datadog. It was a little bit under what Google or Amazon might be offering to their new grads this year, although it is the only official written offer that I have. So I kind of faced the conundrum of, should I accept it and move forward, leaving Google and Amazon behind? Should I try and negotiate a little bit with the Google offer that doesn't necessarily exist yet? Or should I try and hold off as long as possible on Datadog, extend the hiring decision, and wait on Google? After a day or so of personally weighing the options, I do think I came to a good middle ground, but it is a good example of where a quick text to a mentor could have really set me on the right track. As far as goal setting as a software engineer is concerned, well, my number 1 priority is to get to that mid-level software engineering level in the first year or 2 of my career. I do still think it's important to have a North Star, so to speak. Do I want to build up a base of experience in big tech and then go work for some startups hoping to strike it big? Maybe start my own startup one day, or just climb the ladder in a big tech company. There's a ton of options, and all of them honestly seem really great and fulfilling, so making decisions in the margins is what I've been focusing on. And outside of just the software engineering advice that I might be able to use, I do think I have a lot to learn as a content creator, and in the same way that you look to provide mentorship to young software engineers on your channel, I look to provide mentorship to computer science students and high school students interested in computer science on mine. You mentioned not to look for mentors that are too far ahead of you, and I think this is a great example of how a young computer science student might look at me, who is a step or 2 ahead of them, and I might look to you, who is admittedly more like 3 or 4 steps ahead of myself. In terms of why your viewership might find videos with me interesting, I do think that I'm an excellent case study because I am a tabula rasa of a software engineer, so we can really tweak different variables and see how things play out over the long term, as opposed to somebody who's a few years into their career and might already have some things set in stone that they can't necessarily adjust to optimize for career progression. I'm young, I'm ready to move around, and I'm really trying to hit the ground running. I also have a proven history of talking to higher level software engineers on my YouTube channel and taking their advice, so even if the views on my channel aren't astronomical, I do believe that I produce some solid content. I'm not just a computer science student who does nothing but program all day. I do believe myself to be somewhat multidimensional, and a good example of this might be a recent trip that I took to Argentina. It was just before my Google internship was going to start, and I was in the process of making a video about how I got my internship at Google. I wanted that video to be uploaded uploaded before I got on the flight to Argentina. I was actually in the airport gate using the Wi-Fi connection from on my cell phone to upload the video as I was walking onto the plane and giving the flight attendants my boarding pass. That trip to Argentina led to a ton of funny stories, but I think the best one was me driving to the airport for my flight back. My family lives in a city about 7 hours northwest of the capital city, and I was driving to the airport when suddenly the transmission seized up and me and my father found ourselves stuck on the side of the road. We were able to get a roadside mechanic to give us second gear and only second gear, but that wasn't going to make it the other 4 hours down the highway. So I had missed my flight, and I had 2 days until my Google internship was about to start. We wound up spending the night at a truck stop in the middle of absolutely nowhere that was down a long dirt path near the gas station that we had pulled into, and after spending the night eating a lot of very good meat with all of the truck drivers, I did eventually ride shotgun on the tow truck all the way back into the capital city and make my flight that was rescheduled to the next morning. As one might imagine, it was a tad bit of a stressful situation, but I look back on it with a smile because it was pretty absurd and led to a good time. As long as everything works out in the end, right? So Steve, please, I hope you consider my mentorship, and if not, then maybe one day I can grow large enough that we can make a video together.